Hello and via live. Good morning. My name is Christian Fisher. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Show. Have you ever wondered if there's one tool which can give you the edge over your competition? If you have, stick around. We talk about that today. Hello again. I'm Christian. I'm your Disruptive Chef host. And I'm excited to talk to you about a single tool which can transform your life, your career, and your business. If you know what that is, write on the comments below, because there's one single tool which can help you give you the edge over anybody else. And that's really simple as writing a book. And I wanted to talk about writing a book and the power of writing a book today and how a book can become a transformative tool for you to leverage up not only your career, certainly your business, and also could help you with some of the other things in your career. So for me, let's go back a step. So for me, I had the opportunity to write books with a big company. They allowed me to write all of their books. And the amazing thing around it was we had this huge production. We had five, six people just doing food photography with us. We had people doing stages. They had the setups. People brought in material to do it. It was this big thing. We just had to make small little dishes and create the recipes. It was pretty much a full on production. It was so much fun to do it because it allowed us to learn a lot. I learned a lot about food photography. I learned a lot about setting the stage. And that allowed me on a later date to write my own book and publish my own book. And since published, oh my God, we have over 30 books today. And we actually have another one in the hopper, which we will launch by the end of the month. And as we started doing this, for me, a few things open up. First off, a book is the single best tool for you to become a subject matter expert in anything you do. If you're a chef, if you teach people how to meditate, if you teach people how to quilt, if you teach people how to make gates for fences, it doesn't really matter. A book is the single best way for you to become a subject matter expert. Not only a subject matter expert, it allows you to stand out from your competition. So if you want to elevate your career, I honestly believe the best way is to write a book. It doesn't need to be the book, it needs to be a book. And the reason I ask people to write books, and we're not just asking people to write it, it became for us such a driven tool that we created a business around it. We're teaching chefs today how to write a book in 8 weeks or less. Because really, that's all it takes. If you have recipes, and I know anybody out there listening, especially chefs, they all have a stash of recipes which are amazing. You just never got around to it, to writing a book. We also learned that the average person writing a book on their own, it takes them between 5, 7, 12 years. We can do it much shorter time period. We also found out that most of the chefs writing a book or anybody publishing a book sells less than 500 copies. That doesn't need to be that way. And we also found out that they're spending up to 150,000 writing a book. I don't think you need to do that. It's too complicated and we don't need to make it that hard. And again, there's so many benefits around writing a book, around getting building credibility, building authority, or expand opportunities. If people asking you for one single advice all the time. So if you look at it and if you want to write a book, um, we teach our students, it's really simple. Look what people are asking you for. What are people come to you for advice for? Where do people support you around the initiatives you have because they want to learn from you? Where do people bring you along because you have that one skill which allows them to build a better friendship group, maybe be a better connector, or maybe allowing them just to shine because you are that bright light within their friendships. You could be the motivator of the group. Any of these, if you want to call them gifts, could be put into a book. The book is also a powerful marketing tool. It attracts clients, it gives you speaking engagements if you choose to, and it also allows you to demand media attention. So, my story about my very first book is I always wanted to write about Austrian food. I'm native Austrian, and I'm very proud of my home country, and I always wanted to have the opportunity to write a love letter to my home country of Austria. I started this book. Oh, I think it took me 5 or 7 years, never gotten anywhere. To the point I was so frustrated. I says, I need to learn how to do this. I need to figure out what is holding me back, and I need to figure out how to get it done and get it done now. And I signed up for a few courses, which were out there at the time, and I learned a little bit from all of them. And then I started publishing my own books, and there's a lot of benefit of publishing your own book because you retain the rights to your book. You retain all of the information you want to do. Now you can license it out, or you can just lend it to somebody, or you could, for a speaking engagement, customize the front cover, which allows you to make some additional income. And my book, For the Love of Austria, let me give you an example how that book actually works. We sold less than, I think, 1,400 copy on Amazon, but we were able to take that book and sell it to a large organization. All they ask us to do, change the front cover to their brand. And it was really amazing because it allowed me to leverage my book, not just who cares about the sales in the bookstore, but it allows me to become that tool to bring along. I was invited to speak at a college for a presentation on how to give a presentation. And as I did it, I brought my book, and full transparency, the way my book is formatted, I make about $10 a book when I sell it. And so I ordered myself some author's copies. I went to the university and they said, "Hey, listen, we can pay you $3,500 for your speaking engagement." And I said, "No, not. I don't want any money. I just want to get my message out there. Can you please buy 1,000 books?" And they said, "Oh, we can't do 1,000, but we certainly can buy 600 of them." So remember, told you I made $10 a book. So now for the client, I was the hero because I went in there and I didn't cost them anything, which allowed them to save themselves some money for that event. Because having a book purchased comes out from a different a different form or a different way on the budget. So it was much easier for them to pay me the 6,000 for my books. So I'm telling you this not to impress you. I want to impress upon you there's probably something you really good at. There's probably something within you you need to share, not just with the industry, you need to share it with the world. There's probably something within you which can allow you for your reader to shorten the learning curve. There's probably something within you which allows you, and we have one of our student, she is type 2 diabetes, and she found a way to make really amazing recipes, delicious looking, amazing tasting recipes for type 2 diabetes. And she's been, kind of sending these recipes around. Now she's writing a book around it because she believes eating that way could extend your lifespan 5, 10 years if you have type 2 diabetes. So now, can you imagine how dare you not writing a book? If you have the capabilities or the knowledge to expand somebody's lifespan 5, 10 years, how dare you rob them of the opportunity to learn from you? If you are really good in writing resumes, you need to have a book. If you're really, really good in detailing cars, you need to write a book. If you're really good in garde manger, if you're really good in pastries, if you're really good in baking, if you're really good in a la minute, if you're really good to find a way to make amazing dishes with just what's in your refrigerator, you need to write a book. And you've already heard The Joy of Cooking. And if you know the book, The Joy of Cooking, by the way, is the number one best-selling books ever in the culinary industry. It sold 64 million copies. And the person writing it It's not a professional chef. And if you look at the top 10 best-selling books ever in the history, especially around culinary, more than half of them are not professional cooks. So for me, a book is the single best tool to get your message out there. There's a flip side on writing your book, because when you write your book, and it happened to me and it happens to our students all the time, when you write a book, it exposes who you are. For me, as I wrote my book, I was for 2 years, I was sitting 3, 4 hours at night, and my wife said, how come you still haven't published a book? And I was like, I can't figure out the margin. They're telling me my margin are off. I don't know. I talked to this person, I talked to this person. I can't figure out the margin. It took me months reformatting that little setting on the margin, until I went to somebody who wrote multiple books, and I said, how come I can't figure that out? And he said, oh, it's really easy. That's what you need to do. I was like, it can't be that easy. He said, yeah, it's that easy. I went in there, and it sure was the little thing he told me to do. And for me, what I learned from that process is I wasn't good asking for help. I wasn't good in raising my hand saying, hey, I need help here. I tried to figure it out on my own. And that's one of our things in our industry. Chefs typically do not ask for help. Chefs typically do not raise their hand and say, hey, over here. We were taught that we need to do it ourselves. That's not true. Eh, We were taught that, hey, there's weakness in asking for help. That's not true. We also were taught by you asking makes you less. That's not true. And I'm here to tell you, and I give you permission to say that is not true. It does not change who you are if you ask for help. And for me, as I started asking for help around the book, I learned there's really easy way on figuring out what I want to write about. It's really easy to figure it out. Hey, how do I want to market it? Is the book designed to be on a bookshelf, or is it designed to become a marketing tool? Is the book designed to be a marketing tool, or is it designed to be a business card? Is it designed to be a business card, or is it designed to get some royalty income? And that's really easy to figure out. And as we started doing this with our clients, we have over 400 now in our repertoire of people which wrote a book. And by the way, our number one student, his name is Peter. Peter was able to write 4 books in 8 weeks, has a full-time job, a family he needs to take care of. And by the way, he's self-employed. So that means he has to work even more on his business. And he was able to do 4 books in 8 weeks. So the process we developed is super simple. So now when I know what I want to write about, I know what the book is for. Next step is really simple. And that's, how do I want to lay it out? And we found some tools and some tricks on how to get some additional income from some other sources by just the way you lay it out. And for our student, we also made it really simple. We created, I believe we have 30 or 40 different templates now. So you could just plug in your information and it works. From there, you need to create a group. The group which allows you to cheer you on when you bring your book to market. That group is also the group which does possibly the proofreading. That's also the group which allows you to saying, like my proofreader for The Love of Austria, I gave it to a really dear friend of mine. Her name is Jeanette, and she was amazing. And she said, Christian, I know you love Austria, and I know you love Mozart, but you gotta stop mentioning him every page. So true. And she was able to help me with that. And then also, if you write a cookbook, it's important that you have multiple people test your recipes, because sometimes as chefs, we know exactly how long to cook something, how long to sear it, how long to saute it, how long to keep it just extra, how to just add a little bit more to make it perfect. But if you have somebody test your recipe, and I recommend to have 3 people, one of them needs to be somebody who absolutely loves to cook. Second person, somebody, hey, I cook, but I could go without it. And number 3, somebody says, hey, if God made restaurants, how come, I need to cook? These 3 people get different feedback back. And then from there, it's easy to dig food photography. on my book, For the Love of Austria, all of those books, oh, sorry, all of those pictures for that book were taken by myself and my family with an iPhone 6 at the time. You don't need a expensive $30,000 camera. You don't need fancy lenses. They help, but you don't need it. So we learned how to crop the photos, how to do leverage natural light. And then when you have it all laid out, you need to have a strategy of get it out to the marketplace. I told you the average person writing a book sells less than 500 copies, and I don't want you to be that. So we have a strategy, what we call a launch team, which helps you to launch the book. And then also when you highlight it and you upload it into the platform of Amazon, it's really important that you categorize it. So one category, which is what the topic actually is, and one a related one, which allows you to market towards that. And that's as simple as it is to write a book. And I want you to write a book. And we actually made it our mission to have 1 million chefs write a book over the next 10 years through our platform. When we launched our platform, we made a commitment that we want to have the latest and greatest. And internally, every time we launch the course, and we launch it 4 times a year, we writing a book with the group, because I want them to know. And actually, I let the audience pick a topic, and that's what we write about. And this new one we just launching is called Culinary Kung Fu, where we taking the principles of Kung Fu and the principles of cooking and kind of combine them, and how they jointly can make an impact in your life, in your career, in your community. And we're doing it not just because we want to show our audience that we can do it. It is for us to learn some new tools, some new techniques, and then we update our program. We are the only program out there where we re-recording videos almost on a monthly basis, because we learned something new. We discovered a new tip. We found out a new, better way to do certain things. That's what we do for our clients. So it's really important when you choose to partner with somebody that they have done what you want to do. So now when you have that book, you can, we talked about, hey, you could have additional revenue streams about just from that sale alone. How about speaking engagement? Because if you have a really powerful message, people will find you. You probably heard it said that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And there's nothing better than a book, because a book allows you a lot better way to get exposure out there than doing it on your own. If you have a consulting service, having a book is a must. If you have a catering service, a book is a must. If you have a hotel chain, it's a must. If you have a hotel and restaurant group, is a must, because it allows your consumer, your guest, your client to look behind the curtains, who you are. And people can fall in love with you with the book. And some people saying, hey, if I ever need help, this is the person I want to partner with. So in the comments below, was this helpful? Please write if you wanted to write a book, because if you choose to, let us know. We invite you to our free program. We're actually launching our next 3-hour workshop and teaching you step by step on how to write a book, all 24 steps it takes to finish and get a book on the shelf, on February 15th of this month. We would love to have you. Again, if you stuck writing your book, reach out to us. We can help you and get you going. If you have writer's block, we have a really amazing tool I used for myself to kind of beat writer's block. For me, English is not my first language. So for me, the writing piece was really difficult, and having a group which can help me from an editing perspective was super powerful. We also learned some tips and tricks on how to take great pictures. And they don't need to be over the top. There is power in simplicity. We have this little thing, we call it the 101 on food photography, where we actually showing people, hey, you see this? This looks like whipped cream, but it's actually shaving cream. Hey, did you see this back there? This gravy, doesn't it look amazing? It was actually reduced coffee. The things, tips and tricks we have learned. Take great pictures. So with that, if you haven't done so, please check out the disruptivechef.club, which is our private community where you get front row seat and all of the new cool things we do. And by the way, the guys in that group come for free to any of the programs we're currently doing. They also get special messages on all the things we've been working on for the weekend, for the month, to give them an unfair advantage of anybody else. So if you haven't done so, go to disruptivechef.club, become part of our community. Doesn't cost you anything. We promise you not to spam you. We send you just stuff and we know it makes an impact in your life, career, or business. With that, I want to say thank you for being here today. Listen to Buy rant around writing a book. And I hope this inspired you and gets you going to get that book, which is in here, onto the bookshelves, because you deserve it and your reader deserves it. Do not rob your readers of the opportunity to get to know you, learn your insights, learn your strategies, learn your techniques to make their life, career, and business better. The end of the day, for me, a book is an amazing tool on how to pay it forward. Not just a way to pay it forward to get people into my world. I'm really proud of what we do with our culinary business here. I'm really proud of what we do from our education business. I'm really proud of what we do with everything else we do. But if you're asking what I'm the most proud of, it's how we help people become overnight experts, because having the title author after your name levels you up. A good friend of mine wrote a book with us, and he is a consultant, and he is a consultant in the machining business. He came to me a few weeks ago and said, Christian, you know what? I always thought there was good, hearsay that you need to have a book, but I just sold my single largest client. And as we signed the paperwork, he said, you know why I partnered with you? You had that story in your book, which really hit me. And I knew that I needed to partner you with you and not with the other person. You never know who gets your book in their hands and what impact it has for them. So hopefully this will help you write a book. I hope this will help you get your message out. And I hope they will give you the tools, techniques, and also the kahutzma to reach out to us if you need help. Be here to support. Be here to make sure that you get your books on the shelf. With that, thanks for being here today. I'm Christian, your Disruptive Chef host. If you guys want to hear about any topics or what we do, let us know below. Join our disruptivechef.club, and we would love to have you part and learn from you. So with that, I want to say thank you. Please go and sign up for our event on February 15th. We would like you to have a book and let us be a partner. With that, I want to say thank you, and we see you next Monday.